It says we're live.
It says we're
So
live.
we are live. Yes. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, Leslie. It is a beautiful day in New York.
It is. It's so nice that we've had a few days of sunshine in a row
Yes.
because it really reminds me of when they tell you like we need sun, we do.
No, we absolutely do. It makes such a difference. So, I actually was going to an event last night that was in meatpacking. So, I live on the east side. So, that's the west side. And so I took the train and was connecting to the L at Union Square. And when I got close to the platform, I could tell, or close to the staircase, I could tell something was going on. I'm really bad at estimating numbers of people, but I swear it looked like 1,000 people clogging the platform, blocking the stairs. So they had suspended activity in both directions. So long story long, I
Oh
ended up
no.
walking. Yeah, I ended up just walking, and it was such a beautiful evening. Like, it actually ended up being a positive thing. The weather is such a mood lifter, it's amazing.
Really is. And yesterday was a particularly beautiful evening because I was also out doing some walking and I was like,
Oh,
this
such
is
a
so nice.
difference.
I've just a few days ago, I was wearing a winter coat.
I know. Oh, some of our favorite people are here already.
Oh, yay. And that's what I was kind of waiting for. Yay. Oh, good morning, Holly. Good morning, Lincoln. Oh, I love it. I love seeing you guys. Thank you for being here. And you know what we want to, they're going to enjoy this treat. Uh, I have some banners of some of the offbeat questions that have been shared in the comments, and I
Yes.
have a few of my own added in. And I
Amazing.
thought before everyone gets here, I thought we'd start sharing them with the early arrivers. So now the first one is the one that was shared in the post, but just want to make sure everyone's seen it. If you were shrunk to the size of a nickel and put in a blender, how would you get out? Uh, Melissa, were you ever asked that question?
Oh, thank God, no. No,
I
I
was
never
thinking the
was.
same. But I want you to know, I have dozens of people who've told me they've been asked this question or a version of it.
Yes. Yes.
And uh, some of them approached it like from an engineering kind of perspective. Some decided to just go with humor. Uh, but yeah, they knew they were being tested. What the right answer was, nobody really ever knew.
I don't think there is a right answer. I mean, I think obviously at the end of the day, these questions are just made to see like how we can think on our feet and how we can think creatively. So I gave this some thought after you posted it, right? I was like, how would I get out? So
Yeah,
I'm going to share my answer.
please.
I decided that I would hide at the bottom underneath any of the blades, hope that they all missed me. And then I would just be poured out with whatever was being poured out of the blender, right? Because you have to pour it out.
Yeah. Ooh, I like your creative plan. I would have hired you if I was asking that question because I that's what I'm guessing they're looking for, like creativeness,
Yeah.
um, even a bit of humor, even a bit of just exploring what's possible. So I love that. Well, this one
God.
was shared by Jeannie, and I, I just laughed at it. If you were a sandwich, what kind of bread would your leadership style be? At first I was being stumped by like, okay, let me think of all the names of breads. I
Yeah.
couldn't think of that many to choose from.
I guess sourdough would not be a good answer.
Yeah. I'm gonna do one more and then we'll see some of the comments of who is here.
What?
This one was
Oh no.
also offered by Jeannie. She had a whole slew of them. Can you describe a time you disagreed with a colleague without using vowels?
How is that possible? Vowels are
I
never
don't know. That's why it just made me giggle.
I guess you
So
could
I'm
draw it on
going,
paper. You could like draw, you could draw the argument.
ooh, that's a good one. So I'm gonna move, of course, the comments will move all over the place. We said hello to Holly. We said hello to Lincoln. Oh, I'm gonna bring some people up. Hello,
Ah, hi,
Ashley from
Ashley.
Virginia. We're so glad you're here.
Gee.
And Jihan from Texas. Oh, hello,
Hello,
Meryl.
Meryl.
Yay.
I'll fill you
You
in on
miss
the
it.
subway story, Meryl.
Oh, and Lee is here. So good to see you. From Argentina. So far, well, not necessarily the distance, because Lincoln
Hmm.
is probably a few thousand miles more.
Yes.
Karen
Yay.
Cooper, hello. So nice to see you. You make me smile.
Oh, hi, Molly.
Molly, good morning. So good to see you.
Hey.
Johannes, oh, hello. We loved it. I think it was her solution to getting out of the blender, right, Lincoln?
Kind of hope I
Um,
survived.
oh, and Jeannie's here. I hope she heard us sharing her questions, the sandwich
Yes.
one and one of the others. I have more of hers too. Hello,
Hi, Jason.
Chasen. We're so glad to see you. And we both saw you in person a few weeks ago. It feels like yesterday, but I think it was a few weeks
It
ago.
was a few weeks ago, I know. Ryan.
Ryan. Okay, so we'll get to everyone else after. We want to welcome everyone because it's already 10:07.
Oh my goodness.
I know. So I'll put up the welcome. So thank you for joining us. Our newcomers, those who've been here before, we welcome all of you, especially also the people who are watching the recording. So this is Let's Talk About It, Careers, Business, and LinkedIn. And today is episode 19, Offbeat Interview Questions and How to Respond. So, of course, we want to start off with introducing ourselves, and then we'll get into the conversation. So, Melissa, if you would start.
Oh, thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Cohen. I am, as is Leslie, in beautiful New York City. I am a personal branding and LinkedIn strategist. I help you find your voice, build your brand, and build your business on LinkedIn. And I am so grateful that you all came to spend part of your day with us.
Oh, me too. That's so sweet. So, my name is Leslie Nydick. I help people get unstuck and stay unstuck from conflict. And one way I do that is by sharing my quick tips every other week on my blog. So, if you haven't seen it yet, they each take less than a minute to read, and I promise you they have impact. So, go visit theconflictstrategist.com, click on my blog, and you'll see the subscribe link. And thank you if you subscribe. So we were already seeing who's here. So I think we want to jump right into our question for the viewers. Offbeat question you were asked. Let's hear what more of yours. And while we're doing that, I'm going to offer another one from I I'll actually just read it rather than find the banner. Carlos Sabrega said, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" And I thought that one was so interesting to mention because now, like, if you ask people where do you, I remember always being asked that question,
Yep.
decades ago, and you'd kind of wrap it around your personal interests as well as the company interests. But now, will the company even exist in 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah. So I was asked that question too, of course. Um, and I actually spoke about this in a comment on someone's post. I don't remember if it was one of mine or someone else's. And it was the second job that I ever interviewed for. The first job that my first corporate role. And I didn't know any better. Like nobody trained me, taught me, explained to me how to answer this. And so I was just really truthful. And I said, well, I want to be in your role. And somehow she still hired me.
I love that. Because maybe she like had that same thought like for her manager's role, like, hey, I'm gonna be in your role if we
Yep,
don't move on like within 5 years.
exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
I love that answer. So there are some more comments, so I'm gonna get to them. Let me get back to I think Jeannie was answering her question about the bread, so I just want to bring it up. This was the earlier question. If you were a sandwich, what kind of bread would your leadership style be? Sourdough. That's a great one. And then, so now I'm, I think this is, I'm just, there you go, Melissa. There is no box.
That's
I
right.
love that. Oh, hello, Wendy, and
I
I
like
love your
Wendy's
answer.
answer. That's a good answer. So I'm
That's a
seeing
great,
I'm seeing a good question. What animal would you be and why?
oh,
What animal would you be, Leslie?
I'm just going to pick like an animal that I love, a giraffe. And then while I'd say it, I'd have to figure out like why I said it. Because
Yes,
I
yes.
just love giraffes and I'd like to see a giraffe in person. And those are the ones, and I know they've been repeated over and over again, that I would have hoped that before the interview, I looked at a book with all those odd questions and just come up with an answer because they're hard to come up with one right on the spot, but I guess that's their
Very,
point.
very. I just think it's kind of mean, honestly.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
Ah,
Amara, I'm so glad you're here. We have other friends from all over now. Kimberly, welcome. Great to see you. And I'm just going to move through to see if anyone else was putting another question. I think there's a lot of hellos going back and forth. Yes, Wendy and Holly are saying hello. Rebecca, hello. It's great to see you. Kangaroo. Ooh, that's good. I like your idea, both of you. I think there's a question here from Chicago. We went from 80 to 50 like we saw a state trooper.
okay, that's funny.
That's very funny. I think there's giraffes are tall, have big vision, and are highly sensitive even from a distance. I would hope if I was asked that in an interview that I would come up with that great response. Thank you, Kimberly. I love that. So with all that being said, we are going to get to our question for ourselves. So what we're going to answer here, Melissa. Oops, I moved to the wrong question. What offbeat interview question have you been asked, and how did you respond?
So I've been really fortunate. I have not ever been asked anything as wacky as some of these questions. So as I said, I have been asked where do you see yourself in 5 years question. And the only other one that really comes to mind, which I did a post about, the first job that I got out of college was in retail management. I was an assistant store manager for a women's clothing chain, and I was being interviewed by the district manager. And he pulled a big pen out of his pocket and said, "Sell me this pen." And that was absolutely horrifying for me. This might be psychologically where my dislike for sales comes from. It just occurred to me it might be going that far back. And now I know you're supposed to show how the pen solves a problem, right? And how he needs this pen. And instead I did what, a 21-year-old would be likely to do. And I just talked about the features of the pen and why it was so useful. And again, somehow shockingly, I got that job. So I don't know if he just felt sorry for me. But that was definitely not a wacky question per se, but uncomfortable for me.
Very uncomfortable because if you did any preparation for that first interview, you wouldn't
That
have
wasn't
even
it.
thought of, yeah, that to me, that's offbeat. I wouldn't have known where to start, and I'm so glad you shared that one. So the most offbeat question I was asked was more about like timing. So I'm going to describe it. It was the very first one I was ever asked. And it was actually an interview with a prestigious college. I was barely 17. And he asked, what 5 magazines or newspapers do you read and why? So let's remember, I said I was just turning 17. The only magazine in my room was 17 magazine and like the prior 12 issues, because I always saved like a year at a time. Now, I did occasionally glance at the magazines that my parents had, mostly those news magazines. So I did mention a few of them in my question, and I said I appreciated the in-depth stories about recent headlines and news topics. I decided not to apply to that college. It, but it really wasn't because of the question, or at least it wasn't the only reason, like that they were trying to stump me. So, but that one, like, scared me to death, and I had so much so that every interview I ever went to in the future, I always had my answer, like the 5 magazines, the 5 books you just read, things like that, because I always thought that's what people ask to stump you, and I never got asked again.
Of course.
So I have a feeling there's some comments here because I see a bunch came through, and it's acting a little wacky today. So here's something. Um, Leslie Nydick, the courage champion at Martin Stock, saw a sassy
Ah.
giraffe in person while in Africa.
A sassy giraffe. I
I
wanna be a
love
sassy giraffe.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, and another good morning. Good morning, Nick. It's so good to see you. Ah, Robert Berry, hi. It's so good to see you as well. And I love this. LinkedIn user, we will know who you are later. I have a few guesses. When we go in the comments, we'll see. Was this before or after Wolf of Wall Street came out? I
If I
love
had
that.
to guess, I'm gonna say before, not knowing what year that came out, but pretty sure before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And thought, yes, she thought on her feet. That's clearly what paid off with that odd question that you got, Melissa.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He may have been impressed, even answered the questions. Love it. But I think that's some of it. I remember, oh, what magazine were you reading as a 17-year-old Leslie Nighting? I mean, and they wanted 5. How many magazines was I reading as a
I
17-year-old?
guess they weren't
You
gonna
know,
be impressed by Tiger Beat.
I
Do you
know,
remember Tiger Beat?
yeah, totally. Had some of the pictures on my bulletin board.
100%.
So a lot more people saying hello back and forth to each other, which we love seeing. Don't forget to do that and network in the comments. So I'm going to get to the next question to ask Melissa. So, what would the name of your debut album be? How would you respond to that question, Melissa?
Oh, that's a really fun one. All right, so I'm thinking back to the when we had the fun Chat GPT prompt of what would your pop album be, but it's like a play on a real one, and that was 1984 by Taylor Swift, and it gave me a whole interesting reason why. And clearly, I'm stalling here. So, my debut album. Okay, so y'all know I co-run a community called DIY Influence, and I help people to enhance their influence on LinkedIn. So my debut album would be Influence and Espresso.
Mm.
How's that?
I would definitely be buying that album.
Me
I
too.
love it. Ooh,
I kind of
that's
want
such
one.
a good answer.
Thank you.
I love it. So mine, and I'll give the reason behind it, would be ready, set, go. And
Oh,
it came to mind as I was writing the question immediately. So it was my first thought. So I'm like, I'm sticking with it. And it's because every time I hesitate because I'm thinking too much, I talk to myself in my head. None of you hear it. And I just always remind myself, "You are ready, you are set, let's just go." And it really works almost every time. Sometimes I have to repeat it a few times.
I
But
love
that's
that.
why I just thought, "Ready, set, go," because it's my little mantra that gets repeated in my head.
I love that. I love that. Also, as I'm
And
looking at the comments here, I just have to say, going back to the magazines,
please.
Holly has a gem as always. I would tell them whatever was at the dentist's office.
Oh, you know, that would have been good. I
Yep.
still used to go to the orthodontist office, but I'm telling you, what I read there was the only magazine was Highlights magazine. Wasn't that the one that had like
Yes,
games and
the
little
puzzles.
exercises and
Yes,
puzzles? I
yes,
would love that, Holly.
yes.
That's a great answer. Ah,
Ah, I love that.
yes, Karen, Disco Queen, great one. And I'm moving down. There's a lot of love for us from Rebecca. Cute, love that. Oh, Jason's also buying Karen's album. I
Yes.
love that. Oh, and we could say hello to Rana Deb.
Oh, thank you.
I
It's good
love
to see
and
you.
that's so sweet. I'm moving down. There's a lot of hellos back and forth. Oh, and we didn't say hello to Jewel Kim yet. I just interviewed someone yesterday and didn't throw them any curveballs. That
Good.
was
That's
so
because 'cause you're
kind of you.
nice.
We we appreciate that for the person you were interviewing. And we're getting some love from Jeannie for both of our debut albums. I love that. Keith, oh, there's more popping in right now. It's a little slow. Oh, Holly keeps us laughing. My
Oh my
debut
god.
album would be Nickel in a Blender.
I love it.
And Karen agrees. She loves
Yes,
it as well.
that's amazing.
Oh, you guys are amazing. Um, But now I've got a few this gives us time for a few more while the comments come through, because for everyone to know, there I can see there's a slight delay going on. So here's one. I and I know at least a dozen people who said they were asked this. Are you Batman or Robin?
My god.
Uh,
I
I
I would
depending
say
on the job, you could have a wrong answer picking Batman or Robin.
I would fail that one because I would just say I'm Catwoman.
And maybe that's what the person would want. I think this one could be really job dependent, that the interviewer is asking it, and if you answered Batman and they're thinking you want to take the lead and they don't want that, or the
Yeah,
opposite if
yeah,
you don't. So
yeah.
I find that one difficult. Now, this one. Apparently, it's been a popular question. I have never heard this one before. And please, we want to hear in the comments if you've ever heard this one before. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? So let me repeat that. Would you rather fight a one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? And of course, they want you to tell them why as well.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I know.
I
We
yeah,
have, are you a leader or a follower? Yeah, the Bat. I assume
yep,
this is a response to the Batman or Robin. And I
yeah.
think it, uh, I'm really thinking through that one. You'd have to really know the job, know the person you're interviewing with. to understand what they want to hear,
Yeah.
not necessarily what you want to think. So I have another one. Oh, this one has been asked, and at the time it didn't really stump me. Um, if you could have dinner with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Yeah, I mean, I see that question all the time, not necessarily in a job search, or an
Sure.
interview question, which is kind of an interesting spin. I mean, I always answer that question very truthfully and from a very personal perspective. I would wanna have dinner with my grandpa because I miss him. He was my hero. He is someone who had a huge impact on my life, and I was in college when he passed away, so it's not like I didn't get to have a long time with him, but there's so much of my life that he never saw, and I would wanna catch him up on my life because he had a huge
Yeah.
impact on me.
Yeah. And similarly, when I answered it, I would just choose someone who was close to me who recently passed
Yeah.
and would say the same rather than picking. Yes, if you're asking me the other question that gets asked, like if you had a dinner table, like of five people from any point in time, who would you want to be there? So
Yeah.
then you can add in a few of the interesting figures from history. So there's a few more. Others are agreeing with us about my
Yeah.
mom who passed away. I'll take any more time I can with her. I agree. I was
Yeah.
gonna say Tiger Beat. Love it.
Best magazine.
There's so many good comments. Oh,
Oh my
you know,
god, I love it.
he's playing at Radio City Music Hall soon,
Yeah.
Karen.
I
Get your
saw him
tickets.
I saw him there probably, oh gosh, I'm embarrassed to say how many years ago at this point, but it was a fun show. He's fun.
Yeah. Oh, he's a great performer. And for those that don't know, I worked at Radio City Music Hall. He did not perform during my time there, but I saw some like awesome performers, especially during rehearsals, because I worked there and you could just walk down
Oh,
into the
how
theater,
fun.
including Michael Jackson, practicing every little move he makes on stage. It was an incredible
Oh my god.
show to see his rehearsal.
Oh my god, I'm
I
so
digress.
jealous. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. So we're at that point in time. This
Oh my
monthly
goodness.
event is all about conversations between Melissa and me, and with all of you. Let's keep the conversations and the networking going. Don't forget that anyone who's registered for the event is listed in the networking tab on our post, and you can message back and forth with them even if you're not connected. So use that as a way to connect with people, and then you can, actually send a connection request. Our next show, we hope to see you. It's actually in 3 weeks, May 16th. Mark your calendar. And before we sign off, Melissa, do you want to share some closing words?
Oh, I just wanna thank everyone as always for joining us. I swear it's the fastest 30 minutes, on LinkedIn, and I really appreciate everyone spending time with us today, and I appreciate you spending time with me, Leslie. I always enjoy this so much.
I do. It's like a little visit, and I love it. So thank you, everyone. See
Bye,
you in
everyone.
3 weeks.